Now we have seen that we have fixed our two components J101 and J103 on a fixed distance. These both are very critical parts because this will help us to interface with the breadboard. Now in our next step we will be rearranging our rest of the parts. In order to arrange the rest of the parts, just click on the any of the component, like I just clicked on the barrel jack. You can hold and move, or you can hit M on your keyboard and you can easily move your footprint. I just place this footprint over here, and one by one I will be rearranging and placing the footprints as close as possible. So let's move D102, hit M, and I just want my LEDs near to the connectors. D102 over here, and for D101, as this LED is in for the indication of 5 volt, I just clicked and hit M and placed near to this. In order to make track straight, I just click rotate, so that while I lay down the tracks it will be easy for me. Now let's move U102, highlight, click on it, hit M, and it's a 3.3 volt regulator, so I am going to place over here, as my J103 is 3 connector for 3.3 voltages and U101 is 5 volt regulator. When I clicked on it, I clicked on a certain section of the U101, that is why it's giving an option, either you want to choose pad or you want to choose whole footprint. I want to choose whole footprint. I click on it. Now I hit M, and now I can move over here, and I want to place it near 5 volt. In order to rotate it, I am clicking R. Each time I click R on my keyboard, the footprint rotates. So I am going to place over here. Now the next it's R101. Click M, and it is for D101. Hit R, rotate, and place it over here. Now it's turn for R102. Hit M, as this is a resistor for driving D102 LED, and you can rotate and place over here. Now there are capacitors left. Click on this capacitor, hit M, and you can move C101 over here and hit rotate, so that we can draw straight tracks from pad to pad. The next is C102. For C102 is the capacitor that is attached to 3.3 volt regulator. Click over here. As these tracks you can see are crossing one another, we can avoid this crossing by rotating it. Now I can draw direct from pin number 1 of J102 to this capacitor, and from ground to this capacitor. There will be no crossing of the tracks. Now the next is C103. C103 is capacitor which is connected in the circuitry of 3.3 volt regulator. So I just placed it over here. Now for C104, this is again capacitor that is in the circuit of 3.3 volt regulator. I place over here. Now, one thing while arranging the component is you should keep in mind one thing, that these lines which are showing, this is actually redness. There should be least crossing of these lines, because when we are going to add or lay or route this PCB, then this becomes very critical thing. So while arranging the component or while planning the PCB design, you have to think of this, that the less number of tracks should cross one another, because we in this way, by making a plan of the PCB, you can stuff more number, or you can add more footprints onto a PCB, while keeping the number of layers less as possible. So let's see in the 3D viewer how it looks. Go to view, check for 3D viewer, and these are my all the components that are placed. You cannot see the PCB behind it, because we have not added any outline for the PCB. So the next step is to add the outline for the PCB. You can see over here, let me expand this section. Over here you see under appearance in the layers, these are list of layers, and let me choose edge cut layer. Edge cut layer is actually the physical outline of the board. Go to edge cut layer, click on this draw a line, and go over here, start to draw frame. Click over here, and I am holding the PCB and moving by right clicking while I am still drawing my line. So you can see over here my line, I am drawing this way. Then you can click over here, and then you can now I want to actually draw a straight line, that's why I am zooming in and out to see my grid lines. So this is the grid line that goes over here, and as you see there is a circle on it. It means the start point and end point of this line have matched. So I click over here, and yes, this is the outline I have drawn for my PCB. Hit escape to leave the line drawing tool. I have seen that this component C104 is out of the PCB, so I can move in, click on this regulator, hit M, and move this regulator a little bit inside, and then click on this component, hit M, and move this inside the PCB. So I have drawn the outline for the PCB. Make sure to save by Ctrl S, or go to this save icon and click save changes. Now let's see how this PCB looks in our 3D view. Yes, this is the PCB that actually when you will print this and stuff, this will be looking like this. So one thing more to add, you have seen in the 3D view, let me show you again. These J101 header pins are facing towards the top of PCB. Actually they should be towards the bottom, so that they can easily fit into our breadboard. So in order to do that, let's close the 3D viewer. In order to flip the parts J101 and J103, you first of all need to select and unlock it. As I am clicking on it, but it's not selected, because on the right side in the selection filter I have to check this locked items, which means now I am able to select locked items. Like J101 is a locked item. I click on it, hit E and enter into its properties, and here in the properties in the side I click on back. This will be flipped and the header pins which were on the top will now move towards the bottom. So I hit OK, and now if I see in 3D view, now you can see J101 header pins have moved towards the bottom. Similarly, I have to change the direction for J103. Click over here on J103 and hit E or right click on it and enter properties. On the front, change the side from front to back and hit OK. Now both the connectors are flipped and their pins have been moved towards the back of PCB or the bottom of PCB. In the 3D viewer you can see both the connectors have flipped and their header pins are on the bottom. So let's make a little correction. Click on it, hit M to move it. It says the selection contains one blocked items. As it is a locked item, I cannot move it. So I am intentionally moving it, so I will say override lock. Now I can move it. So let's arrange this over here. Similarly, let's align the J103, highlight it, hit M. It again says the selection contains unblocked item, so we can override the lock and move this component over here. Now our header pins are at a distance of 47.62 mm, which was the requirement for our breadboard, and the PCB pins or the header pins are towards the bottom so that they can easily adjust into these holes. So the way in which we are designing the PCB, where this one PCB 5 volt on the top, 3.3 volt on J103, means that this will be inserted on the left side of breadboard, on this here side, on this side, 5 volt on the top, 3.3 volt on the bottom. Okay, as I made a little correction over here, that this 47.62 mm is from the outer pins of both the connectors, so I have made this a little inside. So let's rearrange these LEDs and move a little bit inside. Similarly, this regulator inside, so that I can adjust my resistors a little bit inside and inside. And now I can move this outer edge cut a little inside, and let's join this line with this one. This circle means that there is a joint made between both the lines. Here you can see one line is here, the other is here. So let's pick this dot up and place over here. Now it's complete. Now we have also rearranged, and there was error in J101 and 103 alignment issue. We have resolved. The issue was J103. I have accidentally placed the inner pins on this measurement line. So now I have made the outer lines like this 4 and 3, the length of the length between 4 and 3 pin, like the pin number 3 to outer pin, the pin number 1 of J01 should be 47.62. So let's look in the 3D viewer. Go to 3D viewer and you see my header pins are on the bottom of PCB. So in the next step we are going to add tracks to make connection between these pads.